everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Patricia Monna, Intuitive Consulting. This month, we are doing the June astrological and psychic predictions for what's going on in this crazy world and how the stars are affecting us and what I see in the month coming up. So welcome, Susan Reynolds. Thank you so much for joining me again. I really appreciate this collaboration, and I'm sure so do my viewers, because I think it's pretty cool to be able to see what you predict astrologically and what I see through remote viewing. So welcome, Susan. Thank you for joining me again today.
Thanks for inviting me. I love being here, and I love talking about what's coming up, because sometimes just hearing about what's coming up when it happens, when we see it playing out, it's not upsetting, it's not bothering. Oh yeah, they told me this is going to happen. I'm okay with that. Just that little bit of a heads up empowers us a little bit. We don't feel as out of control or what the heck is going on in life. Well, okay, they talked about this. I know what's happening.
Absolutely.
So we have a lot going on in June. Again, it seems like month after month after month this year, we have had big months. And coming up in June, the big news is Pluto, because for the first almost 6 months of this year, Pluto moved into 0 degrees Aquarius, just 0 degrees, put its little toe into this new sign. But it's been enough, because I don't know about you with your clients, but with my clients, I keep hearing, this has been a crazy year. I don't know what's going on. So much stuff is happening. They're all over the place. You know, they're coming and going, and major events are happening, and work is changing, and very chaotic kind of energy. And that is thanks to the energy of Pluto in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the sign that's ruled by Uranus, a planet of change, newness, upheaval. So this year has been one that has been busy, one that may have challenged us, one we keep getting surprises around every corner. That doesn't mean bad surprises, because I know as soon as I mention to a client, this or that might change, I can feel the tension. What kind of change? I'm not sure I like this. What are you talking about? We tend to be a little bit more cautious about change. We want to initiate the change. We don't want these planets making these changes happen for us. But these are not bad changes. Aquarius is a sign of the future. So a lot of people, regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of financial circumstances, are looking at the future in a new way. They're starting to say, is my old dream working for me? Is what I thought 2 years ago or 5 years ago what I still want? And for many people, that answer is no. Even if it's yes, for the most part, people are ready to tweak that or make some changes or try some new things, or, oh, I never thought about this direction. Let's see what happens if I go down this road. So these first several months of the year have been exciting. But in June, this month, June 12th, I think it's June 12th. Yeah, June 12th, this month, right around the corner, less than 4 weeks away, Pluto is going to leave the sign of Aquarius and move into Capricorn.
Okay, I got to say something about that.
Yeah.
Because right before our meeting, I'm going, okay, what do I need to let people know? I literally wrote down middle of the month, June 12th. Feels sticky. It feels very sticky. And I was going to ask you, what's going on June 12th? I literally have June 12th written down here to discuss, because I'm like, okay, it doesn't feel good. What the way that it came across to me was static in the field and very sticky, dark energy around the 12th. So it almost felt like, okay, is this some sort of heavy energy that is going to affect everybody? Because it does. It feels like whatever we are being faced with or asked to shift, June 12th is going to be a time
when those moments happen and we're on the same page from different ways, different modalities. I can't believe that you got June 12th.
So tell me what Pluto's doing on June 12th, because I picked that up.
On June 12th, Pluto leaves this new sign with all these new energies of Aquarius, and it slips back into the old energy it was in for the last 15 years of Capricorn.
I wonder if it feels heavy.
Capricorn's not a bad sign. It's not like one is good and one is bad, but
Yeah,
one is about the future, one is about the past.
yeah.
Aquarius, which we've been dealing with for these last few months, all about the future. Capricorn, which we'll be dealing with more July through December, that is about the past. Capricorn is about traditional things. It is about authority. It is about leadership. We need some Capricorn in our charts if we're going to lead or start our own business or get promoted or be a manager. Those are positions of authority. We need them. But sometimes Capricorn can be a little heavy-handed. Don't question me. Do what I say. I'm the father, you're the kid. Although nowadays I kind of think that's okay. You know, parents, they hold the authority. The managers, the supervisors, the boss, the owners of the company. How are they going to use their authority? I'm going to say, remember, these are astrological energies. They're going to come out on the personal level. They're going to come out on the professional level. They're going to come out on the national and the international level. So the second
Well,
half, go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say, like, it does. It feels like it's going to affect everyone, but of course it affects everyone differently because it depends on what you're going through in your life. But the overall theme that everyone is gonna see is, okay, it's time to shift. It's time to actually look at what's working and what's not working. So it's really cool that's the stars. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
I
but
love that. No, you interrupt whatever you like because I'm not happy you got a sticky energy, but I love that we were both getting the same thing. I just, as long as I've been doing this, those little freaky moments just still tickle me. So yeah,
yeah.
so the second half of this year, we're dealing with authority. We're dealing with our profession because Capricorn rules work in our career. So we may be thinking about, do we need to retire? Or do I want to change jobs? Or can I make more money elsewhere? We're asking those questions. I think the second half of this year, a lot of people are going to hit pause. Old situations come back up again. This whole year has been about new, change. The universe
Mhm.
hits the pause button. On a personal level, I think this can be a very positive energy because I don't know about you, but January through now, I have just been running at top speed. There's so many things I want to do or create, and I don't have time because I'm too busy working and taking care of what's in front of me on a daily basis. And I think a lot of people are experiencing the same thing. So by July, we can take a breath. We can pause. What about this new stuff do I want to keep? What about the old way? Do I need to finish up? Because these 6 months are going to give us a chance to finish up anything we haven't done right. Anything we've started to see, oh, I could have done that better. In some ways, on a personal level, it's like a gift. We get to go back and redo. We get to go back and take another look. Oh, let me do that a different way. Let me clean this up. Let me heal this situation. So I
Mhm.
think we may see things that we thought we'd said goodbye to, and boom, here they are again. So it's not that it's good or bad. Some of you may be thrilled to be getting a second chance. Some of you may be, oh, not this again, as it comes back around. But we have empowerment. We can decide how we want to handle that. I think what we're going to see internationally is the rise of more authoritative regimes. We may see different leaders move into more restrictive, even brutal tactics, because Capricorn can be a bit ruthless. It's not the only sign. I don't mean anything bad about Capricorns. We all have our different sides. If you're looking at this on an international level of leadership, it is about, I want to be in charge and I will put you in jail kind of thing. So we're going to be looking at that on the news.
It's interesting you say that because right underneath, middle of the month, June 12th, feels staticky. More dirt will come out about politicians as we get further closer to 2024, but towards this end of this year, is they're digging out the dirt. Like, for example, here in Alberta, um we have the provincial election coming up between the conservatives and the NDPs and the liberals. And it is so funny. There was, what is it called? one of those, not talks, but debates between Danielle Smith and Rachel Notley. And it was almost embarrassing to watch what Rachel Notley, this NDP leader, the way she was over talking Danielle Smith, and the way she only had 2 points in there, and neither points made sense because it was untrue with the mud she was slinging at Danielle Smith, total mud. And then I look at Danielle all poised and professional, and speaking her truth, and telling everybody the plan, and the one thing that I caught on out of that debate was that Rachel Notley, not once did she deny that she wants to up the taxes big time. And Danielle Smith, confronted her about that. That was her big thing. Like, let's talk about the taxes you want to add here. Not once did she deny it. She just kept flinging mud in her face about such trivial things that I thought, oh my God, if this is the way politicians act, I prayed that people actually see the behavior the NDP, and vote with their common sense, because it's just, if that's the best platform that this woman could come up with the NDP, Rachel Notley, it was just and high school drama, and you could just totally see it play out on the stage. And that's what I mean. There's going to be more put right in front of our face. And it's up to us to be able to decipher, who's telling the truth, who's full of crap in these debates. Because I'm telling you, truth hits different in the body than a lie does. When we know something, it's solid. It has a foundation to it, an energy to it. I know who I am. But when we think we know, it's weak, right? So for anybody watching this and who's going to be watching the debates, in the US, you've got your
I'm not even going to get into politics in the US because we're a dumpster fire in terms of politics.
Oh, I know, but this is where people have to go there. They got to feel it. They have to be able to feel truth of what's coming out of these politicians' mouth and be able to discern for themselves. Like, discernment and spiritual discernment, needs to be at an all-time high, because these are the people that we are literally handing our countries to, that want to implement some very, very, very scary things. And so we need to be prepared to vote with what our truth is, instead of what anyone else's truth is. I'll never ever tell anybody how to vote. Feel who's telling the truth. Feel what resonates with the future that you want to create, but for me, it's one of freedom. And I have to say, okay, I will tell you this. So I just did an amazing road trip all through Arizona. My son and I, we landed in Phoenix, grabbed a car, drove all the way up to Sedona, gave him the personal vortex tour in Sedona. We even got matching tattoos. And then we went to the Grand Canyon and all through there, and Antelope Canyon. And I have to say, the freedom that Americans have that we don't have as Canadians. I'm now looking at my country that has changed over these past 3 years, and I'm telling you, Canada is not what it once used to be. And the freedom that you guys have down there, like even the freedom of having a drink with a paper straw versus a plastic, renewable straw or recyclable straw. We don't have that. They don't even have grocery bags anymore, Susan, in the stores here in Canada. Trudeau outlawed grocery bags. So if you don't have your own grocery bags, you're walking out like this, literally, or you have to buy them for $2.50. They're cloth bags. Walmart is charging $2.50 for a cloth bag. Y'all don't know how good you have it down there.
I had no idea.
The freedom. I went to the gun range and I shot an MP5, which is one of those automatic weapons that was just, I loved it. I loved it. There is something very empowering about, being able to shoot a gun. That's not something that you can readily do in Canada anymore. They have gone after guns here like you would not believe.
But
it's
you don't live in a country in which there are mass shootings literally every day. And so every
See,
country,
and
not
that's
just the
got to
United
change
States and not just Canada, every country
everything.
is going to be looking at this line that you just described. What are the
Yeah.
rights of the citizens? What is the responsibility of the government? In the
Yes.
United States, over 80% of Americans would favor some sort of common sense gun laws, not outlawing gun. We have that Second Amendment, which I support 100%.
Mm.
But, let's not put an AR-15 in the hands of a depressed 16-year-old.
Oh God, no. Oh God, no.
So this
The thing
is what
is,
every country is doing. They're looking at how do we do this? How do we balance this? How do we take all the freedom of Aquarius and yet the laws? Because Capricorn is about the law. It is about the restrictions.
there
So
has to be there has to be a middle ground. No, there absolutely should not be those kind of weapons in the hands of children or anything like that. But the thing is that the bad guys out there that are, do you really think they're registering their firearms? No, they're just stealing them anyways. That's not going to stop because there's bad guys out there. Go after the bad guys, not the farmers and the hunters, because Trudeau is literally trying to ban hunting rifles. Hunting rifles. This guy's gone from one extreme to the next. So I totally, like, it is so scary what's happening in the US with mass shootings and stuff. So that, yes, there has to be some form of accountability there and some pullback, but at the same time, it's the middle ground that we need so that we're not punishing the law-abiding citizens that actually just want to go out and clay shoot or go hunting so that they can feed their families.
right.
There has to be a middle ground. I think Trudeau has gone one extreme, and the US, you guys are another extreme.
Absolutely. Where's the middle
But what
ground?
I'm trying to say is, with America right now, you guys enjoy your freedoms because they're coming after your freedoms as well. I cannot believe how much Canada has changed in the past 3 years. I don't even recognize the country. There's such a vast difference between the two countries now because of what Trudeau has done. And all I know is that they're infiltrating it. It's part of the World Economic Forum's agenda. To be able to have mass gun control and same thing with, I don't know if you know this or not, but Bill Gates actually is the biggest landowner, farm owner in the US right now. Why is he buying up the food source? Because when you control the food sources, you control the people. That's why. Just like he created his computers and the viruses in the computers so that he could sell the solution. What do you think happened over the last 3 years? Let me sell you the problem, or sorry, sell you the solution, but I need to create the problem first so that I can sell you the solution. Well, get ready. You don't need to be a remote viewer to see that something's going on with the food supply now. They're after the food supply. So it's people like that we just got to be heads up, be consciously aware of where the story of Earth is headed right now, because they're heading us in a way that it's scary. It really is. The rights of the people are totally going to be obliterated if people don't start waking up and actually standing up for their rights.
Now I'll share some bad news, good news.
Okay.
Between July and December, because Capricorn is about government, it rules government and business, and Pluto is about power, I would see lots of governments, not just Canada and the US, making all kinds of rules and laws and trying to put through all kinds of massive, pressure on their population, whatever country that is. But after December, going into January of 2024, and hopefully we'll still be, doing our monthly thing and we can talk about January 2024. That is when Pluto goes back into Aquarius. And when it goes back into Aquarius, it will stay there from January of 2024 till January of 2044. It will stay there for 2 decades. Aquarius is about freedom. It is about revolution. It is about change. It is about independence. It is about equality. We may not see what you're talking about standing up for freedom and understand what's going on. We're probably not going to see that between July and December because there's too much Capricorn energy. But come January, it's a whole new ball game.
Right.
And in the next 20 years, we are going to see that energy play out in Canada, in the US, in other countries, in third world countries, in first world countries. We are going to see populations rising up and demanding change and making changes. So I'm very hopeful about that. But July through December, we may not see this. So I want you to be ready. We may see much more the heavy hand of government. We may see much more infighting in government. You know, one side wants to do this, the other side doesn't want them to do that. I'm old enough to remember when governments had different ideas, different parties, and they would talk it out and they would find a compromise. And now it's not just that you disagree with me, it's like you're a child of Satan and
Yes.
you know, need to be buried underground and done an exorcism on. It's so extreme, it's out of control. So after January, we will start to see more changes. I don't know about Canada. Sadly, I apologize. I don't know as much about your politics, but there are a lot of older white gentlemen in our Congress.
Yes.
And Aquarius is the sign of youth, where Capricorn is about tradition. Traditionally, governments have been formed by white men. But when we start to see this new Aquarius energy come in, we're going to see more women. We're going to see more youth. We're going to see more demands for this is not working. We need to do this a different way. So I would look for massive changes over the 20 years from 24 to 44, beneficial changes that bring in freedom, rights, independence, even some rebellion, but positive rebellion. It's a rebellion to say, no, I'm not voting for that. That's wrong. I'm not going to allow that to happen. So we're going to see that. But more in the immediate future, we may be a little more upset with our governments. And I'm not just talking about our national government. This could be our mayor, our city council, or whatever it is. So just start to watch your local politics. Just keep an eye on what's going on. But you may also see this energy come out with your boss. Your boss was kind of, you know, open to new ideas a couple months ago. Now they're like, no, this isn't working. We need to go back to the old way. No, we're not giving you a raise. No, we're not opening this new department. I'm like, what happened? What, you know? So this older, more traditional energy is coming in, but use it wisely. It doesn't have to be a bad energy. We just need to take control of it.
Absolutely.
So you and I are kind of getting the same thing. And that's 6 months giving us a chance to say what works in our life, what doesn't work in our life. But June is where it begins, because you and I both know June 12th is circled on our calendar.
It is literally on my paper for some crazy reason. So yeah, something's going down on that week. But and like I said, it's kind of interesting how this universal energy is individuated into each and every one of our lives. You know, a lot of people think, you know, when we mention specific dates, you're going to get hit over the head with something, or, you know, something massive is going to happen. No, it's the little shifts that this that this creates in your life because of the energy that is coming in, because it causes you to then think differently and act differently and then create differently.
Because Capricorn is a cardinal sign, meaning one of leadership, it's going to affect all 4 cardinal signs more dramatically, maybe. And the 4 cardinal signs, because I know everybody's not an astrologer like I am, they're Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So if you're one of these signs, or you know somebody that's one of these signs, they may notice this energy a little bit more strongly coming into their life. Not in a bad way, but just, oh, I think I want to take charge of this. Now, the other earth signs, and the earth signs are Taurus and Capricorn and Virgo. So they may get a nice plus because this is going to work well with them. So Virgo may find some new possibilities coming into their life, or Taurus may be making some money or having some extra stuff come into their life. This can be a positive energy for them and empower them a little bit more. But each person has Capricorn somewhere in their chart. When you find where Capricorn is in your chart, that's the area that's going to be affected. That's the area that you're going to notice. For you, Patricia, I know that you're sort of on that Taurus Gemini cusp. I keep seeing you as a Gemini energy. You know, it's a feeling more than anything. Technically, you may be a Taurus, but energetically, you have so much Gemini going on there. That's going to come out for you in the 8th house, which is one of deep esoteric wisdom. That is one of wanting something with meat and potatoes. You don't want to swim at the shallow end. So you may find yourself in these next, oh, I shouldn't probably do that, should I? I'm not trying to get too personal. Am I? Is
No,
that
that's
okay?
okay. That's totally
Okay.
okay. No, you can let that out. You can let that out. That's totally cool.
It just winds me up and I just
Like I
start
said, I
going.
do
Okay.
astrology. So yeah, by all means.
And so as this comes in, this is a house, an area of the chart that deals with power and intensity. So you may start to feel more empowered about something. You may start to get deeper answers, deeper connections with your guides, with higher energy. The 8th house is also the house of life and death, meaning that this is the area of the chart that rules mediums and how we connect with those on the other side. So you may find yourself connecting in a new way, or working with those energies in a way that you haven't before, or moving into them. This is also an area of money and finance. So you may be looking at, how do I meet my financial needs at the same time that I'm fair and honest to my clients, which is something that anybody who has a business or is self-employed is going to be looking at, especially if you're a Gemini kind of thing. But for somebody who understands who they are, who's sort of done the work and is looking within, this can be a very powerful and positive energy, because it can heal any emotional issues bothering you, and it can move you to another level esoterically. So it's kind of it's a positive energy if used right. Any astrological energy, no matter what it's doing, can be used positively. So when you read the books that say, oh, this is bad or this is good, you know what? Take it with a grain of salt. I've seen very challenging aspects turn out beautifully, and I've seen beautiful aspects be a little challenging. So don't just make it a black and white kind of an issue. But at least you think that is the only thing going on in June. Oh, no, 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 no. We have barely scratched the surface. We got stuff going on next month. What I love happening is that on June 6th, Venus is going into the sign of Leo. Now, Venus usually spends about 3 weeks in a sign and moves on. Every once in a while, Venus decides to do something different. And it says, okay, I'm not going to move on after my 3 weeks. I'm going to settle in for a nice long visit. Let me get cozy here. This is what Venus is doing with Leo. So it moves in on the 6th. Normally it would move out by the end of the month. Not this year. This year, Venus stays there until October. So instead of getting 3 weeks of this energy, we're getting about 4 months of this energy. And I love this. Venus is about love. It is about romance. And Leo, talk about drama. Leo is the sign of the diva. It is a sign of drama. It doesn't just want a nice little, romance. It wants love and big capital letters. Leo is creative and social and very high energy and positive vibration. So as we see this in your own charts, in your own life, you may become a romantic. Even the most down-to-earth, practical, don't spend a lot of money on it kind of thing, you may find yourself wanting a little romance. This is a very romantic energy. So if you're dating somebody who is maybe a little bit more of the let's crunch the numbers and not do anything rash kind of thing, you may be a little frustrated with that, because you want the grand gesture, you want the roses, you want the fancy dinners, the love words whispered in the night. This is romance in capital letters, but it is also very creative. Leo is a very creative sign. So if anybody works in the arts, artistically at all, with voice, with dance, with music, with finger painting, with, in the theater, this is wonderful, because Venus can often bring gifts. I was always taught growing up, you're invited to somebody's home, you bring a little something, you bring a little gift, bottle of wine, some flowers. That's what Venus does in our life, brings a little something, brings us a gift. And so wherever this Leo is in your chart, every single person has all 12 signs somewhere in their chart. Everybody. So, even if you're like, oh, I don't have any Leo planets, you have that sign somewhere in your chart. Depending wherever it is, Venus is going to show up there. So that area of your life can get really good, really fast. And for 4 months, So I love this. As a Gemini, well, let's switch to the Taurus side of you, because you're right on the cusp, you know.
I am.
So if you're looking at Taurus as the sun sign, this Venus is going to show up in your fourth house. And Venus is the area of the chart that deals with home and family. And Venus brings a little gift. This can be you deciding, I want new furniture. I'm going to redecorate. Venus is pretty. They want nice things. You may go out and say, we're going to remodel the kitchen, or we're going to add a room, or I'm sick of this couch. We're going all new. Venus can be a little expensive, just so you know. Venus is not looking at the price tag. Venus is looking at, oh my God, that is fabulous. That's what Venus does. So we can all spend a little bit more money. And if you're normally very cost conscious, you may sort of be, what is wrong with me? What is going on? Why am I just charging everything here? But Venus is coming out to play. We want to look good. We want to feel good. There can be impulsive spending in these next few months on vacations. And if you're going on a vacation, you need new clothes, jewelry for all that romantic evenings out and dating, you know. This is where we may fall off the budget wagon.
Yeah, I have to admit, well, with the vacation I just had out in Arizona, it was family. It ended up being costlier than I thought it would be. And then I'm going again this summer. I'm going to Ireland and England as well. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head with the travel and stuff. And it's funny you say that, because this year my theme has been, I'm doing my bucket list. Whatever's on it, I'm nailing that stuff off this year. Over these next couple of years, I'm going to do as much of that as I can. And so that's why I was like, okay, taking my one son to Arizona, and then my husband and I are going to Ireland and England, because that's on the bucket list. And when I was booking it, I was thinking to myself, I don't even care how much this costs, because this is something that's huge on my bucket list to do, because my mom was from Dublin, and when she left, she never got a chance to go back. And yeah, so I just thought, you know, how great would it be to be able to honor her and go see where she grew up and see my grandparents' graves. I've never even met a living relative on either side of my parents' families, because they both immigrated here. And so it would be great to be able to meet a relative.
Irish on my father's side. And when my sister went there, she met some of my father's distant cousins or relatives. She took some pictures of them. They looked exactly like my father, like they could have been twins. So I think that's going to be a fabulous trip. And I would say, for people who are going to be spending a little extra money on clothes or jewelry or trips or whatever, I'm going to say you're going to have a great time, whether you're going with friends or with a spouse or with that. You're going to enjoy your travel, but bring half the clothes and twice the money, because you're going to spend more than you think you're going to spend.
Oh, that's great advice.
This is where you're going to be saying, I don't care what it costs, or put it on the card, or ship it, or I've got to have it, you know, because Venus lets us indulge ourselves. And one of the things that I have noticed, maybe it's the clients I deal with or the people that I know, most of the adults that I know, they're super responsible. They're doing the right thing. They're taking care of their family. They're working hard. They're seeking to be a good person. They're working on developing themselves. You know, we sometimes forget to play. We sometimes forget to indulge ourselves, to stop and smell the roses. We're so busy fulfilling the next requirements, or helping the PTA, or helping our church or synagogue or whatever. Or, you know, we're so busy with our to-do list and everything else, our responsibilities, that we forget to put ourselves on that list. And that's why I'm so especially happy about this Venus coming in there, because it reminds us life is meant to be enjoyed. It's okay to have a good time.
Amen.
It's okay to play. You're obviously already doing some playing. You've got some plans for that. You know, I'm a Leo rising. Venus is going to come out in my first house. It's like, I'm looking at that, and part of me is really excited, and part of me is like, oh crap, what the heck am I going to end up doing? You know, am I going to decide to go, you know, bungee jumping or something on the spur of the moment? Because that's very impulsive. Venus and Leo together, they want to enjoy themselves, and they're open to new experience. So if you're typically a little stuck or have a routine, this is going to give you a chance to get out of that on your terms. You get to decide what you want to do. You get to play with whatever makes you happy. Leo is also a sign that rules children, and Venus is a sign of love and beauty. So for many parents, this is going to be a wonderful summer or next 4 months to connect with their children. Maybe you volunteer at their soccer league, or you go to their school to volunteer, or maybe they're the special moments that every parent lives for, like, oh my God, they opened up to me, and they love me, and we're
Yeah.
communicating. There can be wonderful trips with your children that are the kind that you just look back on, like, oh, remember that summer at the lake kind of thing. It's a beautiful, fun, enjoyable energy.
And I think it's important to be able to create those memories right now, because I think it's interesting because, you know, when you're younger, you want the big house and the big TV, and you strive for that 3D, you know, what you think is going to be fulfillment. And I have to say, the older I get, the more I just want experiences. I said that to everyone. I want an experience for my birthday. Don't buy me any presents. Buy me an experience, whether it's a massage or whether it's, you know, spending the day together and doing a hike together. I'd rather have your presence than your presence, if
Yes,
that makes sense. And
perfectly
I
said.
think that's important, you know. And when we're raising our kids young, we want to get them everything that they want, and you know, we want them to have it. But really, what they need is your presence, your
What they
actual,
really need is you.
ability to be there and connect with them. And so that's, from now on, that's what we do. Like, even in my family, we'll go to Mexico for Christmas instead of exchanging presents. It's like, no, let's be together and, you know, create those memories, because really, when we die, that's all we can take with us. Our pockets are empty when we're out of here. So I'd rather fill it with stuff that I can take with me to the other side.
Yeah, we don't need the stuff.
Yeah,
We need the
exactly.
people. We
Yes,
need the connection.
memories.
We need the experience, like exactly what you said.
So great
Every
advice
bit.
for the summer.
Oh, I think it's going to be a fabulous summer on an individual level. Now, on a more professional level, on businesses and things, there can be some wild spending. There can be some, oh, let us buy this new computer system that's $182,000 kind of
Yeah.
thing. And they go, whoops, maybe that was a little too much. We shouldn't have done that. So I certainly hope somebody is watching the books at the offices
Mm.
and thinking about it or running it by a committee, because this can be impulsive spending. So if you
Yeah.
look at that and sort of start to escalate that past the personal level to the business level, to the community level, to the national level, there can be some crazy spending going on.
Yeah.
Some of that we might be able to have a little control over, much of that we won't. I would just say, use it to make your life better. Use it to enjoy the life you're living. Have those moments. 4 months is a long time for Venus, but in the course of life, that's not a long time. You know, June to October, that's going to be gone in the blink of an eye. And
Absolutely.
so in October, it's going to leave, it's going to go into Virgo. And it's like, we just come down to earth with a splash, like, oh my God, what have I done all summer? What did I spend? I partied all summer. I didn't do this or that. So I'm just going to say, keep it in some kind of proportion. Find ways to enjoy your life that speak to your heart. You know, Leo loves hobbies and being creative, being a fan of different sports. This is a time when we're going to see movie theaters do well. We're going to see the plays do well, the live theater do well. We're going to see the arts increase. There may be more funding for the arts, or we may see big concerts come back, or big shows make a splash or something. This is a lovely time. But especially if you're the parents of children or teenagers, don't be surprised if you start to see those kids become super dramatic, you know. It was
That's
all
very
about the drama.
good.
It's gonna be, Mom, guess what happened today? You know, the
Yeah.
teacher was out, you know, and they say it in this voice, like, they discovered uranium under the school or something, and it's gonna be something kind of mild. So it can be a little amusing. But because it's creative for those people who are writing, it's wonderful for the imagination. It's
Excellent.
wonderful for writing a book, writing a story. It helps us communicate. It helps us express love. So I'm absolutely excited about this. I cannot wait to see how it comes out. I'm going to say now, if anybody wants to know where this Pluto energy is going to fall in your chart and where this Venus energy is going to fall in your chart, you can contact me through my website, exploreastrology.com, and you can email me and I'll be happy to tell you. Now, I won't be able to go into any detail about that, except a few words like this Pluto will be in your 8th house, and that's a house of money and wealth and esoteric wisdom, and like maybe a line or two. I'm not going to be able to go into any kind of reading, but I'm happy to tell you where it falls, where it lands, because we're going to get more out of that if we know where it's falling in our chart.
But if they wanted if they did a reading, to book a reading with you for astrology, they can do that the same way though, right? Through your website?
Absolutely. Go to my website, exploreastrology.com, and you can book whatever kind of reading that you want, predictive or natal or couples or whatever. It's people forget there's all different kinds of readings. I love doing readings for children because I always look at it as a secret weapon for the parent. Because by the time the kids are old enough to tell their parents how they screwed them up, and sort of that window is closed. But when you read the chart of a child for the parent, it empowers the parent.
Yes.
And I cannot tell you how many times a parent will be listening to the reading for their child and they're like, oh, it's not me. I'm not a bad parent. I'm not a bad mom or dad. No, it's your child's being who they're supposed to be. You can do a reading for a business. I just did a reading with that yesterday. Somebody was starting a new business. And if you know when your business started, there's a chart because astrology has the birth of anything. So we could say, well, this is a good time to expand. This is where you might want to watch this or be careful about this. So there's business readings, there's couples readings, there's predictive readings, there's child readings. It's all different kinds of readings that you can pick what works for you. But yeah, this is a good time to get a reading because we have so many things changing and we want to be prepared for that, to meet that on our terms. Mm-hmm. But change isn't bad. It's just new. It's just a little different. So some of this Capricorn energy, I'm kind of looking forward to. Some I'm a little, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But astrology helps us understand so that we don't feel like boom, 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 the universe is just hitting us over the head. And that's a nice feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is nice. I'll mention one more thing. I know we're running out of time. I'll mention one more thing. Also in June, I told you there's a lot going on. We have Saturn turning retrograde. Retrograde just means it looks like it's going backwards instead of forwards in movement. It's not really doing that. It just looks like it from the point of view of the Earth. So for these last few months, Saturn, which is the planet of our career, our work, it's a planet of big business, profession. It's been going forward. So people have been thinking all kinds of big ideas about their work. I want to get promoted. I want to be the president. I want to start my own company. On June 17th, it's going retrograde. So do not be surprised if professional things slow down a little bit. There may be some projects that you're gung-ho about and your boss has to tell you, no, we're putting that on the back burner, or we're going to delay your promotion a little bit because we want to see what this quarter's earnings are like. Saturn's going to slow things down a little bit, but it's not going to stop them. So it gives you a chance to regroup. It gives you a chance to plan if you need to make any changes to your plans. It's not you, it's just the energy. And so, yes, it's going to go retrograde on the 17th. So if there's something you need to get done, push for it between now and the 16th, because once it turns retrograde on the 17th, doesn't mean things aren't going to happen, but it's going to take longer. People you need to talk to are going to be out of the office, and getting paperwork signed isn't going to go smoothly. It's going to take twice as long. So it can be a little frustrating. It still gets done, but allow extra time. If you have to give a deadline to your boss, build in a cushion on when you're going to have that ready, because things may slow down after the 17th.
Good to know. Really, really good to know. I'm just going to cover really quick just a couple of the things that I had written down just for June and July. When I looked into the energy of both of those months, it felt very fiery. Actually, it felt like there's a lot of movements, a lot of, like you said, a lot of transition, different things happening. But when I see fire, um, I want you to think of it on all levels, right? Fire in our soul is going to help us with our intuition, our those are going to be coming to a head. A lot more synchronicities. People, if you notice that you're starting to see the repetitive numbers, look them up, because it's literally your connection coming in, and it will happen at certain parts of the day, certain parts of the week, at different times. You'll feel that boom, something almost like snap in, and you'll start to see everything, how it's all lining up. And so when you notice that, start looking it up. Even if you start seeing weird animals in your around you showing up, look it up. Just all you have to do is go spiritual meaning of 222 or 555, spiritual meaning of seeing a skunk, because it does it's very easy for spirit to use animals, because their energy is so pure, such a high vibration, that it's very easy to maneuver them into your line of sight, so that you can actually start questioning those bigger, looking deep in within yourself, and start seeking those answers that you want. That's coming in that. I definitely felt that, and hearing your knowing and your calling. So if something feels off, it is off. Examine it, especially this month, because that inner knowing is going to be heightened. And especially, like I said, especially around the 12th of June, it really, I don't know, something feels like it's going to align, so that people are hearing and knowing things on a deeper scale. So the more spiritually connected you are, the more this time is going to benefit you. And that is what you said as well. It's interesting that what I had written down, Susan, it's so cool to see that.
I love that.
Love it. The other thing I wanted to mention was the energy of spring and summer and fall of this year. It all feels very fast, to be honest with you. Like, even when I look at how early spring came in Calgary, we usually still have snow until the end of April, and the tulips were up, early. And right now, if I was to take you outside and show you what Calgary looks like, it looks like full blown summer here, and we're still in May. And it's been like that, I want to say, for a good 2 weeks, where the leaves have been on the trees and everything's kind of in full bloom. So I noticed that energy come in a lot earlier. It's going to be reflected within you as well. There is something that is causing us to move at a faster pace. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The energy is coming in quick. It's going to hit you quick. And if you're not scared to jump, and you will be rewarded at this time. Jump in faith, not in fear, and you will be rewarded for what it is that you're going after. It'll work out. But yeah, you got to be in your faith, centered in faith, not fear at this time, and you'll be fine. But the other thing that I saw about this fiery energy, it's interesting that half of my province was on fire in May. In May, I predicted that way back. I think it was December or January. I'd have to look at my videos, but I predicted that our weather is going to be a lot crazier, and that is going to be a lot more fires. And I truly believe that California is under threat as well. But here's the thing. I believe, honestly, I know that there is weather modification that happens out there. Weather modification can even be used as a weapon in war. And that was proven back in the 60s, that the governments did that and the military was doing that, right? So I truly believe that part of this crazy weather that we are seeing, and that we will see this year, because that's part of the plan, it's part of the plan. It's not Mother Nature's plan. When I remote view Mother Nature and Earth, the planet we're on, I keep seeing all of these satellites. It's literally like the world is in an electronic jail filled with satellites all around her, like a jail cell. And this is not Mother Nature creating this upheaval that we're going to continue to see this year, because I do believe that you know, I do believe that our weather is being played with, and you're going to see it more. But the thing is that people can call me a crazy conspiracy theorist for saying that. It's out there. It's out there. Do your research. Weather modification has been used for years, and so I think we just need to experience it and see it for ourselves to understand that it's actually real, because the only difference between a skeptic and a believer is the experience. So we're going to start to experience what weather modification actually looks like. That's what I think is going to be happening this summer. So we may see a lot more fires and early fires, that don't really make sense. I think that we're going to be seeing that. I also wrote down that I saw a big tornado in the Midwest, and I don't even know where Midwest is. I just wrote down Midwest, so I know that it's talking about
Kansas, Nebraska, that's more in the Midwest, the middle
where is
part of
it?
the United States. Kansas, Nebraska, those
Do they
areas are around the Midwest.
get tornadoes in that area?
Oh, big time, big time. If you've ever seen The Wizard of Oz,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
Kansas.
Yes. Okay. 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 Ooh. Okay. Well, I have that written down for July in the Midwest. That's on my list. So let's stay safe, folks. Make sure that your house insurance and all your insurances are in order. Oh, and I will say, okay, I got one more thing I gotta say. This is a little bit about my personal life, but I have to say. So after my father was killed 18 years ago, I lost both my parents within a year and a half of each other. My father was killed in an accident, and my mom died in my arms of breast cancer. And it destroyed me for the longest time. Like I could barely breathe even talking about it. I was so traumatized. And but ever since they passed, I've been bugging my husband, we need to do our will. We need to do our will. We need to do our will. And I, go through these cycles of almost panic. We need to do our will. We need to do our will. So 20 years later, after saying that for 20 years, I finally did my will. And I have to say, it is the most liberating thing in the world to write your will. I wrote what I want at my funeral. I wrote you can literally be made into diamonds. They cremate you and they make you into memorial diamonds. I'm like, yeah, I want to be made into a diamond. Yeah, my estate will pay for that. Writing my will was the most liberating thing, because now I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I can go at any time. I'm not leaving my kids screwed. You know what I mean? So for anyone who's been pausing on that, and this message speaks to you, write your will. Not because you're going to drop dead anytime soon. It's not like I'm planning on exiting.
Remember what I just said about life and death?
Yes.
Pluto going into the 8th house, there are your wills. And I'll tell you something else that's funny between the two of us. I just did my will 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God. And that's like right around the time that I finalized it. It was so funny. I didn't even know who to get to do the witnessing. So I asked a couple of my clients, hey, you want to witness my will? I wrote it myself. I don't pay lawyers. There's templates out there that you can do it, where you literally write it yourself, and it's as good. That template is just as good as if you paid thousands of dollars to a lawyer to get it done. It's the same thing. So I actually have a lawyer friend,
but it's not depressing.
No,
for you it was joyful. For me, I was joyful. It was happy.
It was totally freeing. It was like the greatest thing. And I told my husband this. I'm like, Renzo, you have to write your will. It's actually quite fun. And he looked at me like I had two heads. But it's like, but this is my thing. None of us are promised tomorrow. None of us. We cannot be scared of death. Death is the most natural next step. You know how we fall asleep every night? That's exactly what it feels like to die. To come out of your body is like your soul is stuck in this little size 2 shoe when you're actually a size 11, and when you come out, it is the most amazing feeling in the world. And I know because I astral travel. When I do my remote viewing, I know how to get out of my grid. And so I know what it feels like to have that experience of coming out of this tiny little body when your soul is massive, right? So we cannot be scared of our next step in our evolution. And this life is what's going to feel not real. It's going to feel as real as yesterday. How real was yesterday to you? It's not real because the only thing that's real is now. It's a continuation of now, 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 now. Our heads will remember what we think we did yesterday on, what was yesterday? Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday,
Monday.
right? Because we
Today's
have
Tuesday.
memory, because we have the memory imprint of it, but not because it's real anymore. The only thing tangible is what's in front of us that we're experiencing in this now moment. So yeah, this is the illusion. This is the dream. And it's funny because my husband, I always bug me, never watches any of my videos. And I says, you know when I'll become your teacher? You know when I'll become your teacher? When I'm dead and you're missing my sassy little voice. So I know you're going to hop onto my YouTube and I know you're going to watch every video. So Frenzo, future Frenzo, I love you. Thank you for being the best thing that ever happened to me. But when am I creating this video and when will he actually see it? That's the trip of time, right? So I know I'll teach that man beyond the grave. That's when he'll start listening to me.
I love it.
When he misses me.
You two are going to have quite the vacation with all that Venus and Leo romantic energy going on.
Oh, I can't wait. We're almost 30 years. And yeah, I love him as much as I did when I met him as a teenager. So I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. Anyways, enough about me. So get your insurance in order, get your wills done because it's liberating, not because you're going to drop dead. I promise you. It's a really cool exercise to do. And yeah, I hope you guys have the most amazing June and we will be back July 1st, right? Right, Susan?
We'll be back later next month to see what's going on in July. So get out there, make your changes, enjoy your life, get into that Leo energy, and we'll talk soon.
Amen. Thank you so much for joining me again, Susan. You're always a pleasure to have on my channel. And for anyone who hasn't liked and subscribed to my craziness, go ahead and please hit the like and subscribe button. Take care, and we will see you all in July. God bless.